Hi everyone, Katerina here. So today I'm going to share another lovely split front card, quite a different one from the ones that I shared before that were quite popular with you. If you want to check those out, just head over to the description box and I will link to them in there. So this one is going to be an 8 by 8 very special birthday card. So I have an 8 by 8 heavyweight card base in there, an 8 by 8 inches piece of acetate, and an 8 by 8 square white cardstock, topped by a 7 and 7/8 square holographic silver cardstock and a 7 3/4 of an inch of a pattern paper. And this pattern paper is from the fabulous Florals and Flutters paper pad by Chloe's Creative Cards. So just to recap a little bit, please note that my card base is 8 by 8 inches and so is the acetate and so is that square that I will be using as my topper. This all makes sense in a little minute. So first of all, I'm going to work on my card base. I'm going to have it top fold in. So on the top from the left hand side, please ignore that fly that keeps flying in there. It's so annoying. I'm coming in 2 inches and then 2 inches down as well. So 2 inches in from the right hand corner and then 2 inches down. And I'm going to do the exact same thing on the bottom of the card, the bottom left corner this time, 2 inches up, and then I'm gonna come 2 inches in as well. I've been trying to swat that fly so much in here. I had to cut out so much of this footage. Oh, it was just so annoying. There's so many flies lately. It's really, really annoying. I really don't like them. So in here, I'm just joining up the 2 points using a pencil, just so it will guide me where I need to cut off, because I'm going to cut away that middle section of this card. So again, I'm joining this up. And to cut away that bottom triangle in there will be quite easy. I will just use my trimmer. You can use your guillotine or craft knife, scissors, anything that you like to use to cut your cardstock, obviously. And because I drew that pencil line in there, it is quite easy just to line up in the groove of my trimmer. Now, the second line would be quite tricky to cut away with my trimmer. So what I decided to do is just cut down alongside that score line on the top of my card to that 2-inch mark that I added with my pencil. And once that's done, I can see where I need to cut down. And because the pencil line in there helps as well, obviously I'm going to bring in my craft knife and my cutting mat, and I'm just going to cut that away. And that piece of cardstock that I'm cutting away, I'm not throwing in the bin, I'm going to put that in my scraps. It's a heavyweight 300 GSM white cardstock. It's perfectly usable for some other project. I'm just tidying up that score line in there that I left with my trimmer. And this is all the cutting that I needed to do to my card base. Now, once I put that bottom triangle back in, you can see how the card will come together. Now that middle section is cut away and will be replaced by a piece of acetate, and it will give you like a floating effect for that bottom triangle and my sentiment later on. But first, I'm going to repeat exactly the same process to this piece of square that I already layered up, and I gave you the measurements for later. So on the top right corner, I came in 2 inches and down 2 inches, and on the bottom left corner, 2 inches up and 2 inches in, and I'm going to cut it away exactly the same way I done earlier on. It will be very easy to line up those little pencil marks in the groove of my trimmer. And this paper trimmer is from Creative Craft Products from Craft Stash, and it cuts through the 3 layers like it's nothing. And the 2 of these cardstocks are really heavyweight cardstocks, so both the holographic and the white one, and it still cuts through so easily. I'm very impressed. So that middle section again, I put it in my scrap box, and I will come back and use it on a different card in a future video. What I'm doing here is basically replacing my card front with that piece of acetate, and then I will cover up those triangles with these lovely patterned triangles. It used to be a square before we cut it down. So to do this, I'm going to use double-sided tape. Liquid glue might not work. I didn't want to risk it in here, so I just decided to use some strong double-sided tape, and I'm covering these triangles, both of the white card-based triangles in it, and I am going to line my acetate on top of these. And if you do not like to use acetate in your card making, I have another video coming up very soon for a split front card again, a very special, lovely, beautiful floral card which does not use acetate. So please stay tuned and check back to see that video as well. So in here you can see I'm removing the backing of my double-sided tape. I am lining up the acetate on the bottom and the right hand side of the card where there's no double-sided tape in there, and then I'm laying it on top of the triangle. This way I ensured that it is nice and square. Now I'm just going to do exactly the same thing to that bottom triangle, removing the double-sided tape, and then I'm going to line it up against the back of my card and just laying the acetate on top of it. The next step is to add double-sided tape to the back of those other triangles and adding them on top of the card, covering up anything that might be visible from that double-sided tape underneath. So this is where it makes sense that I used another 8 by 8 inch card base, or the square that I started with, because that way there will be no border around the pattern paper or the holographic cardstock, but it looks like the acetate is perfectly trapped between the two triangles, so the white card base and then the one that I'm laying on top. I really hope this makes sense the way I'm explaining it. And this is how my top folding card will work. You can see that piece of acetate slit in there. I will come back and deal with it later. For my flowers, I use the Elegant Flower die set by Chloe's Creative Cards. I already have a video showing you how I made flowers just like this, and I will link to it in the description box below and explaining exactly what I use, how I use them to make these flowers look so gorgeous. So I played with all different shades of purples and blues in here, as you can see. And for the foliage, I used the foiled acetate sheets from Chloe's Creative Cards. This is a new product also, and I've fussy cut loads of these, and to some of them I added glitters, and the glitters that I used were the Starseed Green and the Sky's the Limit Sparklicious glitters. And then I just arranged all the flowers and the foliage alongside the two edges of that acetate that is visible. But it looked quite unfinished alongside the edge of the cardstock in there, so I decided to add some very thin strips of holographic silver cardstock in there. And I've cut them to 1/4 of an inch in width and 1/8 of an inch in width. They already have double-sided tape at the back of it, so all I have to do is peel that back. And I'm going to arrange them so that the 1/4 of an inch of a stripe, what I'm doing right now, is gonna go on the edge of the cardstock. And then I'm going to take the thinner strips, the 1/8 of an inch in width, and I'm going to add one below and one above that triangle, leaving me with one on the cardstock itself and one kind of floating over that acetate. And I really love how it is going to turn out. You'll see how pretty it is in a moment. I'm just going to leave a really thin gap, probably 1/16 or 1/8 of an inch of a gap between each stripe. And I think this finishes it off so nicely, and it will be ready to decorate after. I really think little touches of details like this on cards just really make them special. So I'm just repeating exactly the same on the other triangle as well, and then I'm going to cut away the excess before coming back and adding my flowers to this. You will probably see that I'm not adding the sentiment just yet, because I was quite unsure. As I said earlier, when I made another split front card, and I hadn't decided until after both cards were done which one will be a birthday card and which one will be a good luck card. But I will add some footage at the end of this video, some close-up footage showing you the sentiment as well on that acetate. You could have seen a sneak peek at the start of this video of it anyway. So in here I'm arranging the flowers, and then I'm just using my hot glue gun to add this. I know a lot of you like to use 3D gel glue or silicone glue in here. I really am not getting on very well with those. I did try. I think I'm just sticking to my hot glue gun for now anyway. To me that works. I love the instant bond it gives. Nothing will start moving. I don't have to be too careful. There were just some small flowers that I ended up not using for this one. So I made loads of flowers for this card, and then it was actually these flowers that sparked me going on a flower making day or two. And I made loads of these flowers after this card in all different colors, and that is the video that I already uploaded for all you to see what way I created these gorgeous flowers and exactly what dyes and what papers, what glitter I used. So in here, just adding all the different foliage, some of them that I just left silver and some of them that I glittered up with the green and the blue crystalline glitter. No, sorry, the sparklicious glitters. I did not use crystalline on the foliage. I did use that on the flowers though. And while I'm just finishing decorating, and I would just like to say a huge thank you to everyone who's been supporting my channel by watching, commenting, and sharing my videos. It really, really means so much to me. And I just feel sometimes overwhelmed by all the lovely comments that I've been getting. So thank you again. I really am grateful for every single one of you. So please stay tuned because I will show you how I decided to finish this card, of which I did not record, but I will show you what I did exactly so I could add a message on the inside of the card as well. But first I'm just going to create a little hinge. It's 1/4 of an inch of a hinge, and I think it's just under 2 inches in width, so just fits in there before that first stripe holographic cardstock on the acetate in there. And this is just so to attach that piece of acetate that is just floating in there onto the card base. And to cover that up, I'm just adding a stripe of holographic cardstock, again 1/4 of an inch in width. And just to finish the decorating, I'm going to bring in some purple gemstones. This is lovely from one of Chloe's Creative Cards bling boxes, and I'm going to add them all different sizes. These bling boxes, if you're not familiar with, they come 4 different colors in 3 different sizes in each of the box. So I added one of the largest one in the middle, the medium size on either side, and then I finished off with the smallest ones. And I'm going to add some onto the bottom of the card as well, but in there I didn't add any of the holographic cardstock, so it looks like those little gemstones are floating. I think it really adds such a lovely interest to this card. So now just a little bit of tidying up, and in here I will show you exactly how I finish this off. Now alternatively, you could write your message behind the triangle in there or at the back of the card. What I decided to do, you can see already the sentiment in there. I'll talk about that in a little minute. First I want to show you what I did. So I added an 8 by 8 inch of a note card in there. Do you see how I added that? That strengthened up the back of my card as well, but it left me with enough room to write a message inside which will not show through the acetate, so the card will still look just lovely as it is. So in here you can see it without the sentiment. And then for the happy birthday, I cut my sentiment out on my digital die cutting machine because I couldn't find any happy birthday large enough to add to that one. But of course you can use any dies and stamps that you may have in your stash. What I did, I cut out that shadow layer one more time and I added it on the inside of the acetate as well. And you can see the happy birthday. I came back with my chisel tip glue pen and I added some crystalline glitter to it. It adds just some lovely, lovely sparkle to the middle of that card as well. I really love how this one turned out. I really hope you do too. And if you did, please do not forget to give me the thumbs up and just subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet done so. I really hope to see you back with my next tutorial. Until then, bye!